will be your host for this afternoon. And let us start off by addressing our honorable dignitaries.
Shruti, can you please start once again? Please, can you please repeat?
Okay, no problem, ma'am. Is there anybody else left to join, or should I?
Yes, you can start.
Okay. So I'm Shruti Naik, and my friend Sharang will be your host for this afternoon. Now let us start off by addressing our honorable dignitaries here. Shri Sunil Rane sir, Nemare sir, Principal Dr. Karlurkar, Vice Principal, HODs, and my faculty members. I'm so glad to announce we have a special guest amongst us today, Mr. Upendra Nadgaonkar sir. He will be our chief speaker for this webinar to share his experiences on expertise on project management. A journey from an idea to finalizing a project, organized by Innovation Cell of Atharva College of Engineering.
So, in this uncertain times of COVID-19 pandemic, we would like to firstly extend our deepest condolences to one and all who have lost their lives and hope a speedy recovery for all of the patients who are affected. We are grateful for the efforts taken by the frontline workers and the government to tackle the situations. Now, starting with this webinar, we'll be venturing some important questions in the project development, such as how a crude idea should be transformed into a well-functioning, efficient project from industry perspectives, how to deal with the challenges of its management, and how innovation and digital marketing can take up the project to a whole new level. During this webinar, if any questions are there, I request everyone to just put it in the chat box, and all the questions will be answered at the end of the webinar. Now, before starting with the speaker's commencement, I would like to call upon respected Principal Dr. S.P. Kallurkar to give an introductory speech and share his words of wisdom. Before that, I'll tell a gist about Principal Sir. He holds a BE in Mechanical Engineering, MMS and PhD in Industrial Engineering. He has 42 plus years of experience to his credit. He has written and published 100 plus scientific articles for popular journals. He has 2 patents under mechanical and IoT domain. We are very grateful for your presence, sir. So please take on the mic and give us your words of wisdom, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It is a great pleasure to be associated with you. And I would like to compliment the ISL team members, the faculty members and the students that you are trying to hit upon the right topic, which is need of the hour. And especially when as a nation we are passing through a crucial time. And our Honorable Prime Minister has given the slogan, Atmanirbhar Bharat. For a normal man, Atmanirbhar Bharat could be in the form of stop using the imported products, or especially the Chinese products. But when it comes to engineers, and especially the engineer entrepreneurs, what is important is we try to select and work on those products and ideas which can help the nation to be Atmanirbhar Bharat. Sometime back I was attending a program from the World Trade Center, Mumbai, and the speakers were also from Indonesia and Vietnam. And what you just now mentioned, digital marketing. Yes, we are marching towards the digital world. And all the nations are trying to get some solutions and their own market share in this digital world. So digitalization of the things is going to be the talk of the time. But in addition to that, we have to remember certain things. For example, few products like automobile sector. Take the bikes. The Bajaj bike and the TVS is one of the most popular in the world. In spite of the fact that the Japanese bikes are superior, but they are costly. The Chinese competitors, their bikes are cheaper in price, but they can't last long. So we have to think of a product which is comparatively pocket friendly to the customers, and at the same time it can satisfy the customer's needs. It should have a proper quality. It means it should satisfy the customer need. The two-wheeler industry has already proved that we are superior. Yesterday I was talking to my friend who is selling robots to Japan and China, and he is manufacturing these robots in Pune in a small garage type of workshop. So what is important is the technology behind it. And he was a supplier to Maruti Udyog. With that experience, today he is able to export. So what is important is that we have manufacturing capabilities. We have good people with good ideas. Now, we need to see that whatever we are doing is going in the direction of helping the nation to be a techno-economic superpower of tomorrow. So we'll have to think of ideas from that perspective. One more aspect is, because you are going to be the future engineer entrepreneurs, I hope. One more aspect is whether we'll concentrate more on the skills of the people, means shall we develop the skill set of the people, or we will go for kind of investments in our enterprises where the machines will take care of the skills. Because when you go into the deep, you will come to know CNC machines. If you are spending more on CNC machines, probably the skill set required is only at the engineer's level. At workers level, you don't need much of the skill. So we'll have to strike a balance between the two. So these are certain things. But right now at student level, you might be having certain ideas. Now we have to ask a question. Is my idea based on market pull or technology push? This could be the two main sources of ideas. It's a technology push. Means you have got certain new technologies, you have come across certain new technologies, you feel that this technology can be implemented. Then the question is, whatever I do based on the technology that I have, how it will be acceptable into the market. If it is a market pull, yes, get the ideas from the market and try to satisfy the market. But in both the things, you can follow a 10-step program, in my opinion. Of course, this is not my own idea. It has been drawn from the internet and experiences. It could be the idea selection. First step is selection of ideas. How my idea is workable, how my idea can satisfy certain needs of the customers. Then scrutiny the idea, understanding who is going to be my potential customer, how it's going to be useful to them. Third step could be taking a feedback from the users. Of course, our Professor Garima always does it. Sir, would you like to say something? Should I stop? Whether the speaker would like to say, add something right now? Okay, I assume I can continue. Then what is the reaction? You take a feedback, you develop a product. Garima talks about design thinking. So the different steps of design thinking can also be utilized in this process. You take a feedback, you offer the product and see what is the reaction of your customers in the market. Then develop a basic version of your product. It's not a final project. And try to hit the market with this basic version. Again, get a feedback, what we call testing the product in the market. And then with the testing results, we go for corrections and the improvements in our product. Once we do all these things, then there is a need of a growth plan. Deepali must knows when we are discussing with one of my startups, who is now in the business for last 20 years and manufacturing CNC machines, and he got continuously 4 or 5 foundation awards for the best product design and its market. Now he's manufacturing CNC machines, unique of its kind. So now there you think of growth. When we talk about growth and time to expand, we have to answer a question. Am I going to think of a vertical growth? That is going from control of raw material to the marketing, or I'm going to do it in a lateral manner. That is, I'll be manufacturing and selling certain products which fall in the line in which I am working now. Now, if I continue with this, my own student, he started the unit with his teachers. Teachers were more concentrating on lateral sides, whereas the student wanted to go more in the vertical manner. So what they did, after about 10 to 12 years of working together, they split into different factories. The student is concentrating more still on the vertical part of it, whereas the teachers are trying to work on the horizontal side or the lateral way of expansion. So these are different steps. And when you are growing, as an entrepreneur, you may come across 3 phases of your enterprise. That is owner-operated phase, where everything you are doing, owner-managed phase, where you have few experts to support you, and then the professionally managed phase. And at professionally managed phase, your success depends on capacity of delegation. So these are different aspects. When you shift from idea to a project, and then project to an expansion, and expansion to a big organization. I hope the ISL team has hit upon the right problem at this given juncture of time. And the expert speaker will definitely throw light upon this, and we all will be able to learn from him. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my views. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights and experience. Now we have a couple of 4th-year students to share their personal experiences on projects that they have worked with. We have invited young student speakers as a part of this webinar so that they may help you relate to the challenges involved in managing a project through their fresh perspectives. So let us welcome our first student speaker, Mr. Siddharth Sinha.
Hi everyone, I am Siddharth Sinha, final year student of Atharva College of Engineering. So my final year project was IPL match win prediction to improve team performance and profiling of each player. So basically it was like to predict whether a team will win or not on the basis of many features. So our goal was to design a win prediction system for an IPL match and give recommendations to the team so that the performance can be improved. So a cricket match, as we all know, depends on various factors. So there are factors like for betting, there are like strike rate, then average, then number of hundreds, number of 50s, how many 4s and 6s the player have hit, and so on. For bowling, there are economy, average, and number of innings bowled, and so on. So these are all the features that contribute to the team winning or not. So we are predicting the probability of a team winning or losing, and how the performance can be improved. So we will like recommend to the team like what factor can be chosen to increase the probability. Like instead of a player B plays in a particular match, so the probability of winning increases by 10%. So we will recommend player B to the team. So that was our project primarily, the summary of our project. So why we chose this project was this project concerns sports analytics. So sports analytics is a new and evolving field in the field of data analytics. There are a lot of challenges in this field. And cricket, as we all know, cricket is the most popular sports in India. So huge amount of time, effort, and resources are spent in these cricket matches, especially leagues such as IPL. So nowadays, even like the stakes in the sports has increased drastically. Like there are huge sponsors, large companies spending heavily for advertisements. So the sport is bound to get more attention, and thus it gives immense pressure on the team management and players to perform better. So it was quite it's quite a lot of pressure on the team to give better returns to the investors. Thus, we thought we can use technology to channel this effort and solve the problem analytically. So previously, the factors and players were dependent on senior players and team management. Like they do know the strength and weakness of the players and who will perform, how will he perform in the team, and so on. But we are converting this process to a data-driven process and solving the problem using data analytics. So some of the challenges that we faced was like data gathering. So first, like we need to gather the data. So like we searched on the internet, we searched on many platforms like Kaggle and so on, but there was no readily data available in the CSV SQL files, SQL format. So like we have to do web scraping, then we had to do feature extraction, and then we also have to do machine learning. So we chose SVM, support vector machine, as our algorithm. So we have to learn on those things. So I did some courses on those to learn those concepts. And I also learned web scraping to scrape the data. We gathered those data, then we pre-processed it, and so we developed our project and so on. Yeah. Then this was our solution to the project. The skills required for the project are like the primary skills was Python. Luckily we all like all my teammates, I Siddharth Sinha, then Akash Vishwakarma and Prakash Tripathi were the teammates for this project. So we all knew Python. So uh, it was good for us. Then for machine learning we have to learn SVM. So we did that. Then for backend deployment, we need to learn Flask. So Akash Vishwakarma handled the backend thing, and so he learned Flask. And so these are some of the challenges and skills required to complete our project. Yeah, so let me just show you once just a minute. So this was the front end of our project. So you can see this is our homepage. You have to select the team players and like which player will play in a particular match. And finally the results come, like what is the target chasing win probability. So you can see 80% is the win probability if a team plays in the first inning. If a team plays in the second inning, that is target chasing, it is just have 26% of win probability. And slots contributing to win, like which slots are strong, which slots are weak, top orders, lower middle order, and so on. So this was primarily our project. We completed it, and we also published a research paper on this. So our paper was published in ICC TAW conference this year in the Web of Science journal. So authors were V. Siddharth Sinha, Prakash Tripathi, Akash Vishwakarma, and our guide was Amruta Sankhya. So basically, this was our project. Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth. That was wonderful. Now, let us welcome our next student, Parshav Timbadia.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, I hope you and your family are doing perfectly well during the pandemic. And now I am Parshu Timbadia, and I was final year student, or I am still final year student. I don't know that. Let's keep that thing for the Mumbai University to decide. Okay, so I am going to talk about my project. My project includes blockchain technology. So the basic idea of my project was to implement the blockchain technology with the e-voting system. So the problem we tried to solve here was, like, in 2013 there was a manipulation while voting, manipulation with the voting system. So we wanted to eradicate that particular problem. So we used a blockchain technology which is completely manipulation free because it is a chain which cannot be broken. And so now I would like to talk about the few important points which I faced and which I feel that you all should know. I am assuming that all of you are from the second or third year students, and I made some mistakes while making the project, and I don't want you to make the similar mistakes which I made. So the first thing was the selecting topic. So selecting topic is, I believe, that is quite an difficult thing for most of them. And I'm assuming that most of us, like me, we would first search for the easily available topic on the internet. But the basic idea which we should follow instead of that is like we should seek for something new. Like our honorable profession mentioned that we should have different ideas and different mindset that would create some changes in these industries. Okay, so basically, like, hello.
Yes, go on.
Okay, sorry. So basically, like, one should not target on the specific topics like which are already available on the internet. One should try something new and unique. And I think it is very important for yourself too to show it, to represent it to the recruiter on the resume also. The next thing I would point out is the team formulation. It is the most important thing, I would say. You should find a teammate which are more responsible and also someone who are ready to drive the whole thing together. So you might face consequences later on if you don't have coordination between your team members. Apart from that, like, what are the skill required? Like, once you have chosen the project and once you think that it is somewhat beyond your scope level, well, internet is a large resource and you can easily reach out to the internet for help. But in my case, my project was based on blockchain and there was not much resources available, and the idea we selected was quite unique. So, like, I reached out to someone, to my senior, who implemented the blockchain project, but in the different domain. So I seek this help, Yash from 2019 batch, and he helped me a lot. So the basic idea I would like to tell is you need to connect and communicate with people, because that can bring a lot of light into your projects. Uh, you might get stuck, you might seek help from the professors and all, but this is something really important. Connection is important, and you might also attend various seminars to get the overall gist and also connect with different people over there. So that's it. And my teammates are Ashay Motiwala and Tirth Upadhyay, and these are some of the few important points which I would like to tell you guys about my particular experience of my final year project. Thank you.
Thank you, Parshvav. Now, next taking up the floor, we have Sandeep Vishwakarma. Sandeep, you may go on.
Thank you, Shruti. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, basically, my project idea was a Drishti, which is an AI assistant for a blind and visually impaired people. So, इस project का idea मुझे around पिछले साल आया था. Hello.
Raise up your volume.
Oh, 1 minute.
Audible.
Am I audible now?
Okay.
Okay. तो इस प्रोजेक्ट का आइडिया मुझे अराउंड पिछले साल आया था, और बॉलीवुड मूवी देख रहे थे और उसमें एक आइडिया आया, लाइक कुछ विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड पीपल के लिए कुछ करना था, कुछ प्रोजेक्ट बनाना था. तो जैसे नॉर्मली होता है, हम भी अपना आइडिया लेके अपने फ्रेंड्स के पास जाते हैं. सबसे पहले तो मैं भी गया अपने फ्रेंड फैजान के पास, उससे बात की प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में, लाइक कि हमें कुछ करना चाहिए, ऐसे लोगों के लिए कुछ ऐसा बनाना चाहिए. तो हमने बहुत सारा रिसर्च किया, टेक्निकल पेपर्स रीड किए, और फाइनली एक प्रोजेक्ट के साथ हम आए. लाइक उस प्रोजेक्ट में हम केवल इमेज प्रोसेसिंग करके यूज़र को गाइड दे रहे थे कि लाइक उसके सामने कौन सा ऑब्जेक्ट है ना क्या है. ताकि उससे हेल्प मिल जाए, कम्युनिकेट कर सके इजीली। एंड हमने फिर आगे जाके इसे अपना बी प्रोजेक्ट भी सिलेक्ट किया। हमारे प्रोजेक्ट गाइड भाविन सर थे। इस टाइम तो हमारा प्रोजेक्ट में केवल एक ही हमने फीचर सोच के रखा था, विच इज़ इमेज प्रोसेसिंग ओनली। पेपर पब्लिश किया हमने, एक टेक्निकल पेपर भी उस पर पब्लिश किया और वो प्रोजेक्ट पे डेवलपमेंट स्टार्ट किया। बट आफ्टर अ लॉकडाउन तो पूरा कॉलेज ही बंद हो गया, सब रुक चुका था। तो उस वक्त में हमने हमारी टीम थोड़ी बड़ी की, हमने 2-3 लोगों को ऐड और किया और हमने दृष्टि के और फीचर्स पे काम शुरू करना स्टार्ट किया। इसके बाद हमने दृष्टि में 2 से 3 फीचर्स और ऐड किए और उसे एक नेशनल हैकाथॉन में पार्टिसिपेट किया उसके साथ। हैकाथॉन में अराउंड 100+ टीम थी। हमें तो फुल आइडिया ही नहीं था कि हम जीतेंगे, तो भी हमने प्रैक्टिस तो किया, बहुत नाइट आउट्स मारे, पीपीटीज बनाई, रिसर्च किया, बहुत कुछ किया। उस जब रिजल्ट अनाउंस हुआ तो हम खुद शौक थे कि हमें फर्स्ट प्राइज मिल चुका है। और आफ्टर विनिंग दिस कि हमारी टीम ने बस एक सजेशन लिया कि अब इस प्रोजेक्ट को प्रोडक्ट बना सकते हैं हम। ये प्रोजेक्ट तो अभी अच्छा है, अब इसे एज अ प्रोडक्ट सोचना चाहिए। तो हमारी टीम तो टेक्निकली अच्छी थी, बट हमने और लोगों को रिक्रूट किया उसके साथ ही नेक्स्ट के लिए, ताकि अब इसे हम प्रोडक्ट फेस में जब डालें तो हमें बिजनेस के साइड जो भी कैनवस मॉडल लगे या फिर मार्केट एनालिसिस लगे, उसमें हमें लोगों की और हेल्प लग सके। तो हमने टीम बढ़ाई और हमने स्टार्ट किया, पिच डेक रेडी करना अपना स्टार्ट किया। और वहीं अराउंड अप्रैल इन मई देयर वाज वन कंपटीशन, आत्मनिर्भर भारत कंपटीशन। तो हमारी टीम ने पार्टिसिपेट किया और वो प्रोजेक्ट कंपटीशन से ज़्यादा पिचिंग कंपटीशन था। उन्हें प्रोजेक्ट से ज़्यादा हमारे मार्केट पे, रेवेन्यू मॉडल, ये सब मार्केट स्ट्रेटजी, ये सब पे ध्यान देना था इन जजिंग राउंड। और ये सब हमारे लिए तो एकदम नया था। हम खुद यूट्यूब करते थे, सीखते थे, बैठते थे, बनाते थे, फिर कैनवस मॉडल बनाते, बिजनेस मॉडल बनाते, ये प्रोसेस चलता ही था। थैंक्स टू दीपाली मैम, उन्होंने बहुत हेल्प की इस वक्त हमारी, और हमने फाइनल पिच कर दिया। आफ्टर 1 वीक रिजल्ट अनाउंस हुआ और हमें सेकेंड प्राइज मिला अराउंड 10K कैश प्राइज के साथ। हमने वहाँ से फीडबैक लिया और उसको और मॉडिफिकेशन पे चालू किया। तो अभी हमारा करंट स्टेज दृष्टि का हमने तो उसे अफोर्डेबल कर दिया है, बिकॉज दृष्टि सो चीप प्रोडक्ट, अराउंड 10 to 12K ये मिल जाएगा मार्केट में। अब हमारा जो करंट स्टेज है, हम इसकी स्केलेबिलिटी पे काम कर रहे हैं। सो फ्रॉम माय साइड मैं बस इतना टिप देना चाहूँगा मेरे एक्सपीरियंस से कि कभी भी किसी आइडिया को छोटा मत समझो, उस पर थोड़ा रिसर्च करो, टेक्निकल पेपर रीड करो, IEEE के जो पेपर्स है, रिसर्च पेपर्स, उनको रीड किया करो, मिल जाएगा। टीम फॉर्मेशन के लिए मैं बोलना चाहूँगा, फ्रेंड्स को वो तुम्हारा फ्रेंड है करके मत लो, उसकी स्किल्स, तुम्हें प्रोजेक्ट के लिए क्या रिक्वायर्ड है उस हिसाब से लो। और अगर स्किल्स भी नहीं है तो उसमें वो होना चाहिए कि वो किसी भी चीज़ को सीखने की उत्सुकता रखे, क्यूरियोसिटी रखे उसके अंदर। यू कैन ऐड दिस। कि हमारी टीम में भी बहुत लोगों को कुछ नहीं आता था, बट दे आर कि हमें सीखना है, हमने सीख के ही सब किया। टीम्स को डेडलाइन दो काम, क्योंकि ये सब प्रोसेस जब तुम डिप्लॉयमेंट के फेस में आओगे ना, तुम प्रोजेक्ट के साथ साथ टेक्निकली साथ साथ प्रोजेक्ट बिल्डिंग, टीम मैनेजमेंट, ये सब भी सीखते जाओगे। पॉइंट्स नोट डाउन करना, कि डिप्लॉयमेंट के टाइम पे बहुत से पॉइंट्स ऐसे आएंगे आपको दिमाग में कि इसे डालना चाहिए, तो उसे नोट आउट करके रखना, इन फ्यूचर काम आ सकता है। और थैंक यू। अगर मेरी कोई हेल्प चाहिए तो यू कैन कॉन्टेक्ट मी ऑल्सो। आई होप दृष्टि तुम्हें जल्दी सब पे मार्केट में देखने मिल जाए। थैंक यू एवरीवन। थैंक्स टू माय टीम एंड थैंक्स टू दीपाली मैम। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर इनवाइटिंग मी।
Thank you, Sandeep. Now let us welcome our next student, Pranjul Agaria. Pranjul, you may take on.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Am
Go
I
on.
audible? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Pranjul Agrahari, and I'm currently in my final semester. So in my team, we are 2 members, me and my friend Biju Das. So when I'm in my 6th semester, So one of my classmates started awareness about mental health, about anxiety, the problem related to mental health, uh, how we can solve these mental health. So she form a group of people which helps other people to overcome from the mental health problems which are very very dangerous. So we get idea from uh, we should work on mental health. So we are looking for key how this problem could be solved through digital medium, through technology. So we are looking for many solutions. You may aware of uh, mental health may be affected to various factors like where we are, environment, people surrounding us. So music. So one of the major factor is music. So most of people agree that music is expressive and its expressivity can be explained and related people to emotions, almost all type of human emotions. And सो हमने एक आइडिया निकाला कि हमें है ना ये मेंटल हेल्थ की जो प्रॉब्लम है ना इसे सॉल्व करनी चाहिए, हमें ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी चाहिए म्यूजिक के थ्रू। तो पूरा आइडिया इसी के ऊपर ही था। तो हमने म्यूजिक लिया और सॉरी सॉरी फॉर एक्चुअली हमारा डोमेन है ना फ्यूजन है, इमेज प्रोसेसिंग एंड मशीन लर्निंग। तो हमने इन दोनों को कंबाइन किया कि प्रोजेक्ट कैसे काम करेगा। सो हमने म्यूजिक लिया और इमेज प्रोसेसिंग के लिए हमने लिया कि फेस डिटेक्ट हो सके, फेस डिटेक्ट होकर इमोशन एक्सट्रैक्ट हो सके। तो जो प्रोजेक्ट है ना 3 पार्ट में अच्छे से डिवाइडेड है। फर्स्ट पार्ट इज अबाउट is using image processing, which are using image processing for facial feature extraction. The second part is musical genre classification, and the third part is we can we have to mix this part, and our music will be played according to our emotion. So that our emotion can be neutralized. So हमने क्या किया, हमने इसी पे काम किया, बहुत सारे मशीन लर्निंग एल्गोरिदम लिए, डेटा ट्रेन किया बहुत अच्छी तरीके से, एंड फिर हमने प्रोजेक्ट को इम्प्लीमेंट करते गए। फिर हमने प्रोजेक्ट कंपटीशन, हमने शायद लगभग 4 प्रोजेक्ट कंपटीशन में पार्ट लिया था। एक था पुणे में, एंड सेकंड वाज इन पनवेल, एंड थर्ड वाज इन आई थिंक in Bandra, and fourth one is in Borivali. So हमने पुणे में एक प्रोजेक्ट कंपटीशन में पार्ट लिया था, तो उसमें हम फर्स्ट आए थे। उन्हें अच्छा लगा था। उन्होंने हमें कुछ इसमें इम्प्रूवमेंट करने बोला था कि बिफोर एंड आफ्टर इवोल्यूशन ऑफ फेस शुड बी डन, एंड फॉर म्यूजिक क्लस्टरिंग वी शुड कंसिडर रीजनल लैंग्वेज। तो आपको आपकी गाइड है ना अच्छी तरह से इंपॉर्टेंट नोट देंगे कि कैसे आपको अपने प्रोजेक्ट पे चेंजेस करना है, क्या करना है, उसे आपको नोट अच्छी तरीके से नोट करना चाहिए और इसे इम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहिए, बहुत काम आते हैं। एंड और रही बात प्रोजेक्ट पार्टनर की, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आप अलग अलग मॉड्यूल लेके ऐसा नहीं है कि मुझे सिर्फ मशीन लर्निंग आ रहा तो सिर्फ मैं मशीन लर्निंग पे काम करूंगा, और मेरे फ्रेंड को आते हैं इमेज प्रोसेसिंग तो वो सिर्फ इमेज प्रोसेसिंग पे काम करेगा। दिस इज नॉट डन। एक्चुअली दोनों चीजें आनी चाहिए, क्योंकि दोनों को आखिर बाद में लिंक करनी होती है हमें। तो दोनों फील्ड का अच्छी तरह से आइडिया होना चाहिए। और बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगी आपके प्रोजेक्ट में। कभी कभी क्या होता है, आपके फ्रेंड सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे, कोई एक्चुअली फ्रेंड किसी को ड्रॉप लग जाएगा, बहुत कुछ होता है। तो इसे ओवरकम करने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए, और आखिर में अच्छा ही होता है सब। फिर पेपर पब्लिश करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट काम हो जाता है। कभी कभी बहुत सारे प्लेगरिज्म आ जाते हैं, तो अच्छी तरीके से करना चाहिए, वो हो जाता है। तो इतना कोई बड़ा टास्क नहीं है, आराम से हो जाता है। थैंक यू। हेलो।
Thank you, Pranjul. Now we have our last student to share his journey. Let us welcome Mr. Shashwata Bhattacharya.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. So, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, good afternoon to one and all present here. I am Shashwat Bhattacharya, final year student of Atharva College of Engineering. So, today I am here to share my experience of working on my final year project and also to share some important tips based on my experience. So, my team consisted of 3 students, Mitesh, Abhijit, and myself. Our project was a movie recommendation system using deep learning. So we were a team of 3 Python enthusiasts with a good grip on coding. So regarding team formation, one tip that I would like to share here is that team members should have good bonding and understanding so that splitting of tasks and decision making throughout the project remains smooth and effective. So our entire project was through 3 phases. In semester 6, we researched on what project topic we should choose, and we spent time on learning about our domain, which was deep learning. At the end of semester 6, we published a paper and presented a poster, which helped us in strengthening our concepts about our domain, deep learning. In semester 7, we planned and developed the back end of our project, which was a neural network. And in semester 8, we developed the front end, which was a desktop application. And then we integrated it with our back end. Lastly, we did testing of our project. So this was an overview of how we went about our project. Now I would like to tell our juniors some tips about how you should go about your project based on what mistakes we did. So first one is that for keeping the stable working version of our project, which was like the versions which were properly working, we used to keep those versions in Google Drive. So I would instead advise you to use Git and GitHub, where we have features for keeping different versions of our project and rolling back to a previous version if the current version has bugs in it. It also has features where many people can simultaneously work on the same project from different places, and Git will automatically merge all the changes. So now due to this pandemic situation where we cannot meet, so like people can work on the project from their respective home, and then you can use Git. And also Git is used in the industry a lot. So there are many commands of Git like git merge, git branch, git commit, etc. So while doing this project, if you like learn about Git, then it would be very helpful later when you do an IT job in MNCs. Second point that I would like to say is that research on both the front end as well as back end from the start of the project. Like research on how you will integrate the back end into the front end. Otherwise, what will happen at the end, your back end model will be ready, be it IoT or blockchain or machine learning or deep learning, but then you will face problems integrating it with your front end, like be it a website or mobile or desktop application. So you will face problem on how to integrate that model into the website or your mobile app, because there are many different technologies, like we have Flask, we have PyQt, etc. So from the start, if you keep researching on how you can integrate the backend into the front end, it would be useful. Otherwise, in the end, you will face a lot of problem. Like personally, we didn't think so much about the front end from the beginning. Like we had thought we would make like some website or application. We had just thought about it, and we concentrated mainly on the back end part of our project. But in the end, we faced problem like for our initial plan was to make a website, but then we were facing problems on how to integrate a deep learning model into the website. So after that, we thought of creating a desktop application. There we learned about PyQt, where like since our project was based on Python, and PyQt is used for making like desktop applications based on Python language. So there we could integrate our backend into the front end. So we faced a lot of problem in then because we didn't think about front end from the start. So this is one point I would like to say to my juniors, is that you should like think about the front end and back end both from the start of the project. And last point that I would like to make is that make an overall timetable from now till the end of your semester of how you will go about the project, because there will be many things happening simultaneously. Like you will have placement, you will have semester exam, you will have submission, you will have master's preparation like GATE, GRE, CAT, MBA, on all that. So consider all the situations which will come into your life from now on, and you make a schedule based on that, where you specify what part of the project you will do every month, and you should strictly follow it. Like if you do follow this timetable which you make after considering all the situation, like you will give gate or you will give GRE, or this time you will have your college exam, this time you will have your placement in college. So keeping all those factors in mind, if you make a timetable like this much of the project I will do this month and so on till the end of your last semester, if you make an overall timetable, then you will not face problems. Otherwise you will face lot of problems regarding time management. Like one time you will find that you have lot of time, and then the next day you will see that next day you have placement, and also you have to submit your project. And also if you make a timetable considering all the situations and the events that will come, then it will be lot of help to you. And last is that skills required for project. So important skills required for project are you should have strong grip on the front end and back end languages which are used, and also you should have strong debugging. Like your project will not go smoothly, every time you will face errors. Instead of getting scared or instead of getting frustrated, you should have debugging skills, so you can exactly find out where the error is and you can accordingly fix the bugs and move on. And also as mentioned, you should have good time management. So this is all. Thank you very much, and all the best for your project.
Thank you, Shashwata, for sharing your personal experience. Now, the moment we all have been waiting for. Our guest speaker, Mr. Upendra Nadgaonkar, whom we are delighted to have on board to contribute his profound expertise on project management. Founder of RSU, he is currently manager of GEP Worldwide and has 15 plus years of experience in project and program management and ERP implementation, that is enterprise resource planning. Shall we all welcome Sir Upendra?
Hello.
Yes, you're audible.
Hi, hi Atharva team. My name is Upendra. So first of all, I would like to tell you guys that it's an honor for me that I am being given this platform wherein I could share my views about project management, digital marketing, and innovation. So I'm really thankful to the entire Atharva team for giving me this honor. Thank you. I'm sharing my screen with you guys. Let me know once you can see it. Let me know if at all I'm not audible or there's some disturbance, so maybe I can repeat myself.
There is actually sir, in the background.
Sorry?
There is a little disturbance when you speak.
So actually I'm speaking from a place wherein there will be minimal issues. Just give me a moment.
It's fine, sir. You're audible. You're very much clearly audible.
Yeah. Sure. Can you guys see my presentation? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So this is a webinar. There's some disturbance. Guys, can you just a small request. Can you put yourself on mute? Yeah. So webinar in collaboration with Atharva College of Engineering and RUSN Consulting. So just a small brief about me. My name is Upendra Nadgaonkar. I come with an industry experience of more than 15 years into project program management, ERP implementation, customer success, and delivery globally. This is my certifications. So I'm certified into project management from IIT Delhi. I have completed my certification in program management from IICT Global. Also certified in Prince2 and Foundation and Practitioner from Axelos. I've also cleared the next level in Foundation and Practitioner from Axelos, that is the MSP, as well as Primavera from IICT Global. So this is my company profile, like RUSN Consulting. So it's a new age revolution in the content and consulting space. We mostly provide services into content and consulting management. This is my website URL. So I've recently launched my product by the name of RUSN Learning Systems. It's a new age digital learning center. We focus solely on the soft skills part, so mostly into English speaking, personality development, and interview, wherein I train my clients on how to prepare for the interview, how to be comfortable speaking in English, and the overall personality aspect. And apart from this, like I have launched another product under RUSN Learning System that is called by the name of RUSN Quiz. So this is a quiz which has been designed for small children, teenagers, and senior citizen people. So the website URL is there. You can have a look at it. So the key takeaways from this presentation would be project management in a glance, digital marketing and its importance, and my views on innovation. So project management. Project management is the practice of initiating, planning, executing, controlling, and closing the work of a team to achieve specific goals and meet specific success criteria at the specified time. The primary challenge of project management is to achieve all of the project goals within the given constraints. Every project initiated has a start and an end date. A detailed baseline project plan is prepared, which is broken down in a work breakdown structure. If I have to elaborate more on this, it would be more like of a parent-child combination. It would be a main composition, and below it would be drilled down further, broken down into small tasks. A milestone is a marker in a project that signifies a change or stage in development. The key milestones are tagged and upon completion are reviewed by the project management team and the key stakeholders. Specific deliverables are celebrated, issues risk are being addressed, and accordingly, the next steps are decided. Lessons learned, if any, are being documented and being shared in the form of a case study. The iron triangle in project management was cost, time, and scope is still being followed globally. If any attribute is compromised, the quality gets hit. Critical chain and critical path are two crucial project management methodologies which can be applied depending on the project. Waterfall, Agile, Scrum are also popular methodologies used by project managers for their team. The general aim of project management is to be able to standardize, structure, and organize work methods. This helps focus all projects in the same way and allows us to repeat successful aspects and learn from mistakes, resulting in a continuous process improvement. MS Project, Jira, Confluence, Basecamp are project management tools which are being widely used. So guys, any questions on this slide? Hello, Atharvati. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You're very much audible.
So, Mike, so do you guys have any question on this?
So there is a question in the chat section that could you brief about project management models in short?
Brief about project management model in short. That's model, right?
Yes.
Project management. To answer this question, project management is a very brighter in scope. I think, see, as I mentioned that if you check my first point, it is about initiating, planning, executing, controlling, and closing. Okay. So this is, I think, the overall idea. I think theoretically, if I have to put it, project management has you start the project, you initiate it, you plan it, you execute it, and measure it, and close it, depending on the project which you guys are working on. So this project management view is based on my experience. I am not covering the theoretical aspect. This is what I have learned from my companies which I worked with, and based on my experiences, I have presented this to you guys. Would that answer your question?
There is a follow-up, sir. Rishabh Shanghai is asking if he meant how about waterfall, agile, or scrum methods, and what are the main differences between them?
Okay, so now with waterfall, see waterfall, I mean to say like waterfall is a project management methodology wherein you need to have those pieces in front of you. I mean, say when you start the development work, you need to holistically look at that product or the development work which you are doing. So waterfall takes a lot of time when you start working on that project. So if at all you start working on a development project, I mean, say if you're building a project from the development perspective, and if something goes wrong, then you have to scrap the entire project, and then that entire development needs to start from the scratch. To put it in a simple way. While in Agile, when you work on Agile project management methodology, you start the development work in sprints. I mean to say in smaller stages. So there is always scope for rework. Even if a client says that they want this changes in the module, you can go ahead and do it. And there is scope for improvement, which doesn't happen in a waterfall. With waterfall, you need to be really careful. You need to study each and every minute details of the project. As I mentioned, if something goes wrong, the entire project goes for a toss, and your efforts are being wasted. While in Agile, there is flexibility for change request. You can always go to the previous sprint. There is scope for debugging the errors, everything. Areas in Scrum, as I mean to say, like Scrums are those discussions or the dailies huddle, wherein you guys go in a meeting and you discuss the project timelines. It could be those stages or sprints, and basically these daily huddles or discussions are daily meetings wherein you guys do the brainstorming. So it would be the engineering team, the QA team, the product management team, the development team, or the project managers, or the business analysts who all are involved on that project. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. It certainly has answered Rishabh.
Well, thank you. Can I move ahead to the next slide?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Project management is really wider in scope. It's not monotonous, but requires a zeal and energy to go out of the way to make the project live and keep the customer happy. Having said that, there are times when the project goes on hold or the timelines are not met. Some suffer due to scope changes from the client side, due to technical glitches, or due to showstoppers. But in spite of all these factors, the key here is communication and coordination. If any one of this is missing in your project, then it's get escalated and the project is tagged as red. I feel project management is about managing customer expectations, delivery, quality issues, and risk. Communication is the key between both the layers. One is the customer client and the other one is your internal stakeholders. If you keep your customer informed about the project deliverables, then there are no issues. But if there is a communication gap on behalf of the PM, then it starts leading to issues and escalations. I would recommend project management as a profession to everyone. To sum it up, nothing comes easy. You need to get your hands dirty in every project. This is how you learn and broaden your vision about project management. To be a good project manager, you need to wear multiple hats of an actor, producer, and director. So, guys, I've been working as a project manager for the past 10 years. Okay, as I mentioned previously, I've implemented ERP across the globe. So, implementing ERP had its own issues. I mean to say, like, there were some projects which went on hold due to technical glitches or due to the frequent scope changes from the client side. There were some showstoppers. But the key takeaways or the learning from me from all these years of experience was that that if you set the expectations with the customer upfrontly, and you understand and document their requirement clearly, and based on that you prepare the project plan and proceed, then it becomes easy. So the key here is communication. If you keep your clients or customers informed about the status of the project, then there are no issues. But the moment there is a communication gap, and the customer then begins to worry that, yeah, what is happening about my project, then that alerts is triggered, and which leads to a red flag, and then it gets escalated. So it could be any product. I would recommend that communication is the key. And the other important aspect that if you guys are thinking about taking project management as a profession, as I mentioned, it's a wonderful area. It's a wonderful domain to be in, because you broaden your vision, you get to learn new things. But most importantly, you need to wear multiple hats of an actor, producer, and director. So I'm going to say that you need to work as an analyst, you need to work as an entrepreneur, you need to work as a senior manager. Sometimes you need to play the role of a QA guy, a developer guy, or maybe a product management guy. I'm going to say from that aspect. Any questions on this slide?
Yes, sir. We have a question from Sandeep Vishwakarma. Yeah. What are the factors to consider while calculating the market cost of a product, and how do we cut down on cost for an MVP, minimal viable product?
See, once you launch a product in the market, okay. So my first question to Sandeep would be: so the product which is is about to be launched in the market, is this a niche product? Are there any competitors, or this is like a completely different product wherein no competitors are using it? I mean to say, like, it's a first time launch in the market. Based on that, I would be able to comment further.
Yes, sir. It's a first time launch.
Okay. But there are competitors.
But there are minimal competitors in India.
Okay. So first of all, to answer this question, you need to understand what makes your product unique and which segregates it from your competitors. So, I mean to say, like, there would be certain features in your product which you only would offer to the customers, and there would be certain features which your competitors would offer. I mean to say, so there would be a difference in between your product. So based on that, you can decide the market cost. Does that answer your question, Sandeep?
So we have a follow-up. How can we scale a project level hardware prototype to a market product, like the scaling and product designing?
Hardware project, right? It's a hardware product, right?
Yes.
Can I have an example more on this? So I would be in a better position to answer that question.
Rishabh, you may unmute and ask yourself so that it is clear.
Okay, good afternoon, sir, and thank you for following up on my questions. So, as Sandeep briefed about Drishti, and we are currently in the prototyping level of this project, but the issue we are facing here is for prototyping, we are using all the ready market available modules, and that makes the product little bulky. And we want to make it modular for like improving the user experience, but at this level we are not yet sure how to collaborate with smart wearable technologies, or for that matter any firm that could help us. So we want to know the process behind how to take the product like prototype from a project level to proper market level product design. Thank you.
Okay, so Sandeep, just to answer this question, like, you guys might have already prepared some blueprint, or maybe you guys would have a project man in place and certain kind of documentation. Is my first question. Is that there with you guys?
So we have the business canvas model ready with us, like the initial rough draft. and there are some like CAD models available with us. So the prototype is there with us, but considering the lockdown, we are only able to deliver on the software side, and we are still figuring out how to develop the hardware.
See, I know that lockdown is like a major constraint, but as per my understanding, what you need to do is you need to keep you need to keep researching on that aspect. Basically, I would have to answer this. Uh, based on your project, based on the product which you guys are working on, I think it's a prototype. That's what you told me, right? Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
It's a combination of hardware and software as well, right? If I'm right.
Correct. Yes.
Is there any showstopper?
I'm sorry, I'm not clear about that.
No, I mean to say, like, is there a showstopper? When I say showstopper, like, is your project getting stalled? Maybe because of dependencies. Maybe some third-party vendor would be involved, wherein you would purchase from a certain hardware from him. I mean, say, procuring from certain vendors.
So the modules which we are currently using for the development phase are like free for use, like the computing platforms. But that's what make that is what it is making the project bulky, and we want to scale it down for a better user experience. So I want to know about the how abouts of designing process, like what should be the steps that from the project management point of view, like what should we consider and how should we approach key partners that would help us in the due process?
So Sandeep, see, as you mentioned that your product is getting bulky, so I would recommend you to maybe nullify certain steps there, wherein there will be certain dependencies. Check for other options. Maybe you and your team could have those Scrum sessions or and discuss it. Okay, and if you are able to nullify those steps and make the product little niche, maybe there will be certain features which at this point of time would not be launched, but you can do it in the future. If you're able to address it as a team and achieve it, then I think I don't foresee any issue.
Okay, cool. Thank you for the valuable advice, and we'll certainly look forward to develop a niche product.
So Sandeep, if I have to elaborate more on this, like, see, there are certain ERP projects like SAP is being charged. SAP charges. SAP has a very high budget project, okay, and some customers cannot afford it. So so when we start to implement these projects, we have to keep the project budget constraint in mind, the resource availability, and everything in cost. Sometimes we have to rework our project line, wherein we have to, I would say, we have to realign the budget expectations. We have to reduce the project cost. I mean, if at all there are 4 guys who are working on that project, maybe we have to use 2 guys.
Okay.
That way. And as far as the product is concerned, so SAP has many modules. Like if some customer says MD, just to give you an example, maybe if you help, then we set the expectations with the client. Yep. As of now, we would go ahead with the implementation of this module, and depending on the feasibility and the considering the change request and the risk factor, we would go ahead and implement the other modules in the future. So that expectations you need to, I mean, say we need to set initially.
Okay.
And then it becomes easy. Okay. This is just based on my experience. So the point which you were mentioning that I was just trying to help you out. Maybe this example would help you.
Correct.
To address
so
it.
Quick correction, this was one of the teammates from Sandeep, Rishabh Sangai, and just last follow-up question. I hope that doesn't take much of time.
I would be happy to answer your questions, please.
So regarding the budget, like budgeting constraints of the project, so could you just brief how do we calculate the market potential, the market value? Like during the due process of business canvas development, what we faced was like we didn't have the proper data for like calculating the project potential market along with the penetration rate of our product. So how do we account for that?
Now, see, I'll give you a generic idea.
Mm-hmm.
So if your project budget cost is 1 lakh, just an example, okay? And if you're about to launch it in the market, so basically this project, the product which you guys launch, I think there would be a certain target customers, okay? So is this for small and medium customers, or is it for high medium customers? I mean to say, depending on the target customers which you are targeting.
So it would be around like small and medium customers.
Okay. So it would be a monthly plan, or it would be a one-time payment?
So the project, like the prototype we are selling would be a like upfront pay model along with some like follow-ups regarding maintenance and all.
Okay. Now suppose if I am a customer and if I purchase this product, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I need you guys will sell me the product and I need to pay the full amount in advance, right?
Correct.
And how would you charge? I mean, say the billing would be as per the SOW, or it would be on the usage.
So like since it is a hardware product, it is a one-time payment. Like you take the product and it's free to use for you.
Okay, so I think that itself gives you the answer. So see, basically when you work on ERP, it depends on the usage.
Okay.
The number of users, and according multiplied, there's a certain bracket which is being assigned to that product.
Mm-hmm.
Number of users into that cost gives you the your budget for the project. So in your case, this is a one-time payment, and the target customers are the small and medium customers, industries.
Mm-hmm.
So that you would be able to define those costs. So in small and medium customers also, you need to segregate the customers which you guys will be targeting. So in small and medium customers, there would be certain customers who would be using certain features. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there will be certain customers who would be using a combination of almost all your product. I mean, say here and there, and there would be a certain bracket who would be using your full product. So based on that you should be able to define that costing part.
Okay. And how about the penetration rate? Like, how do we account for the, like, what would be the ideal assumption? And what are the, like, we tried getting Google Forms answers just on primary data to just get an idea, like, will the customer base buy our project, or is that the right path we are following?
Yes. See, apart from Google Forms, there are many social media platforms which are available there. Like Facebook is there, Google Analytics is there, Insta, Twitter is there. Wherein, or maybe you guys can conduct a survey in the form of email marketing. You can do a bulk campaign. I mean, say a campaign. You can do a campaign marketing. And share it with your customers, and based on their feedback, that would give you an idea what is the response, and accordingly you can take the next steps.
Okay, thank you, sir. That clears my queries, and again, thank you for the valuable inputs.
It's my pleasure. So any questions here? So can I move ahead to the next slide?
Sir, we have one more question.
Yes.
Talking about project management as a job, do companies tend to hire fresh graduates as project managers?
So if I have to answer this question, it's a yes and a no. So companies like TCS, Cognizant, or Accenture, they prefer people who have a mid-level experience, maybe a kind of a 5 to 6 years. And there are certain companies like, I mean, say medium-sized companies or startups who hire project managers as freshers as well. I can put it in a different way. If you're a fresher and if you have done project management certification, then like it's an add-on. And depending on that, the companies may consider you not for a project manager role, but for the PM, sorry, PM role.
Shivang, does that answer your question? Yes, sir. Thank you. Any more questions?
Sorry for that. It would be a PMO role, I mean, say, project management officer role, or a project management analyst.
Okay. Sir, I think you can continue.
Yeah, see, because companies like TCS or the Cognizant, these guys hire freshers, or maybe like they do campus placement, maybe, and they put you on a 1 year or 2 years contract. And even though, like, if you're being hired as a project manager or as a developer or QA, you don't actually do that role. They put you in a project which maybe you would be doing a data entry or some other stuff. This is based on an experience which I'm sharing. You have seen that. It all depends on the project which you guys would be hired for. All depends on that.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. We have one more question, sir. Project management role needs more technical skills or communication skills?
See, project management requires both skills. So if you're a developer, I mean, say if you are from a coding background, and that's like an add-on value. But for a project, from the project management perspective, you need to be good in communication skills and setting the expectations and building the rapport with the client. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm just moving ahead to the next slide. Digital marketing. Digital marketing is a medium to reach out to potential customers or consumers by use of social media, search engines, and other relevant channels. The types of digital marketing. Content marketing. A type of marketing that involves the creation and sharing of online materials such as videos, blogs, and social media posts that does not explicitly promote a brand but is intended to stimulate interest in its product or service. Search engine marketing. Search engine marketing is a digital marketing strategy used to increase the visibility of a website in search engine results pages. Display advertising. Display ad. A display ad, also known as banner ad, is a form of online paid advertising that is typically designed image or a photo and a copy. Viewers can click on the image with the promotion to be taken into the corresponding landing page. Mobile marketing. Mobile marketing is a multi-channel digital marketing strategy aimed at reaching a target audience on their smartphones, tablets, and or other mobile devices via websites, email, SMS, and MMS, social media, and the other apps. Everything that can be done on a desktop computer is now available on the module device. Types of digital marketing continue. Social media marketing. Social media marketing is the use of social media platforms to connect with your target audience and increase brand awareness, increase sales and revenue for a product or a service. Email marketing. Email marketing is the act of sending a commercial message, typically to a group of people using email. In its broadest sense, every email sent to a potential or current customer should be considered email marketing. It involves using email to send advertisements to request business. Influencer marketing. Influencer marketing allows brands to reach their target audience in a way that feels far more genuine than traditional advertising. Rather than business selling directly to consumers, they are building relationships with influencers who can sell for them. So this would be more of a third party vendors who would take your agency or who could be your channel partners. I could put it in that way. Affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is a process of earning a commission by promoting other people's or company products. You find a product you like, promote it to others, and earn a piece of the profit for each sale that you make. Any questions on this slide?
Please ask
Innovation.
your questions in the chat so that we can ask the speaker to answer the question.
So, innovation. Innovation, as the term specifies, is a constant change or upgradation in terms of technology, infrastructure, science, country, and people. To be innovative, you need to welcome new ideas, and that needs to be discussed in a group. And depending on the feasibility, then go ahead and implement it. Remember, an idea is an idea. It is not small or big. Innovation doesn't happen in one day or months. It takes time to implement these projects. A classic example of innovation would be the Green Revolution occurring between 1950s and the late 1960s that increased agriculture production worldwide, beginning most markedly in the late 1960s. That is innovation for me, which helps the entire country and benefits the ground people. I come from a product implementation background. I've implemented many ARP projects around the globe, but the product had its own issues. A product which flows seamlessly and without zero defects and bugs is an innovation for me. Find this is not an impossible task because we have latest technologies to back it up. For example, IoT, AI, blockchain, and many more to come. As per my view, innovation has three layers: science, human brain, and technology. Now imagine if these three layers are combined and used to the fullest, the results would be extraordinary. So my message for the entire Atharva team will be to never stop yourself from exploring and learning. If the learning stops, you stop and everything stops. I call you the future scholars of India because you guys have the platform and skill sets to go that extra mile and achieve the goals you have set for yourselves. Innovating is studying, growing, building, and maintaining. Thank you. So, guys, if you have any questions, these are my contact details. You can send me your questions on my email address, or you can call me up on my number.
Thank you very much, sir. That was indeed insightful and interactive session that you have said. We have one question, that is, do you think the marketing has highest budget in your project?
1 second, give me a moment. Am I visible?
Yes, sir, you are visible. Also, your screen is visible.
Okay, so yeah, can you repeat that question for me?
Do you think marketing has highest budget in the project?
See, whenever you launch a project, marketing, yes, marketing is important. Marketing is important because unless and until you do the marketing of the project, you cannot run the business. Marketing, sales, pre-sales, customer success, and customer experience. These are the terms which are being used frequently in today's world. Wherein you do cross-selling, upselling, depending on the projects or product which you have.
Okay, thank you, sir. Also, there is one more question, that is, say something like, what are the key differences between product-based startup and service-based startup from project management side of view?
See, with service-based startup, wherein you don't have a project and the client would give you that projects and you would offer your consulting and project management services to the clients. Okay, so that answers your first question. Whereas in compared to a product-based organization, you have your own product, and based on that, you have your own implementation and project management team who implements the product. So you know the product in and out, I mean to say. So based on that, you guys prepare the project plan, and accordingly, you go ahead and implement it. Whereas in a service-based projects, whatever the client tells you, you have to deliver according to the client timelines. Whereas in a product-based organizations, I mean, say like you're the boss basically. As far as if I have to put it in another way, with product-based organization or startups, you can follow a 80-20 approach. You can implement as is 80% project, and 20% would be considered a change request. So that 20% change request would be like that feature would be enabled, and it would benefit multiple clients. Then that would be helpful. You cannot implement one feature for any specific client. But again, here there is a difference. Like if the client is a big client in terms of revenue, and if you have a very good relationship, then of course you will go that extra mile and develop that feature for him. Areas in the service-based projects from the project management perspective, whatever the clients tell you, we need to deliver it, and basically he can take you for a ride as well. I would say there would be frequent scope changes. There would be a lot of rework involved. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. We have a reply that it is answered.
Okay, but let me know if you need further elaboration. I would be happy to address it.
Sure, sir. Sure. We have one more question, sir. I personally have a question. That is, what is the best type of marketing strategy or digital marketing that we should use for market penetration of a very innovative product that is a first-time launch?
See, now again, my first question would be, can I know your name, please? Is it Sandeep?
No, it's Sharang, sir.
Sharang, okay. So Sharang, my first question would be to you, what is your target audience? So is it for, I mean, say for any specific industries, or it would be for the entire people? I mean, say like base level users. Yeah.
It is for general public.
General public. So okay. So I would suggest you that you can use WhatsApp status. WhatsApp status, because now due to lockdown, mostly people are available on their cell phones. So you can, that would be my first step. You can put your product information a little bit, maybe a URL or something, or website URL, or some small brief, and you can put it on the WhatsApp status, and you could reach out to many customers, because you would have certain friends, they can circulate it among them. So that way you would reach out to potential customers. This is my first advice to you guys. And then you guys can prepare a presentation. You can launch it on YouTube as well. Then Quora is a platform. And again, you can Google Post is there. So there are many mediums out there wherein you can reach out to your target audience.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Facebook, Insta.
Sir, not a software-related project, but a new hardware-related project. What is the best marketing strategy or digital marketing platform to do that?
So as I mentioned, it would be like make use of Facebook, then Instagram, Twitter. You can develop some videos. You can put it on YouTube. Of course, then you can design a website, and you can run an SEO, search engine optimization, wherein you could pull the crowd towards your website. So that way, people would come to know about your product, and they will go ahead and visit your website. They would visit your videos. Accordingly, it would get picked up from there.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
So following on Sharang's question, this is Rishabh Sangai.
Yes.
I would like to ask again, since it is a hardware project, and you said we can launch it on the digital platforms. So there are two phases for my question. First is if it is a new project and if we launch it digitally, like if we promote it digitally, how do we cope up with the chances that the product doesn't get copied? And the second part to the question is, if there is a competition, how do we avoid the copyright claims from the other products that are already available in the market?
See, to answer this question, first of all, you guys need to do a thorough study about the market and your competitors. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and since as far as the you need to get your product registered, maybe get it patented, so there is no copyright violation, or so that nobody could claim it.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, sure. Thank you, sir.
So Atharva team, let me know if you guys have more questions. I would be happy to address it.
Sir, I think there are no more, but we'll wait for a minute so that if there are any more questions, we can answer him.
Yeah.
But indeed, sir, that was a very interactive session that you gave, and thank you for your presence and the guidance.
Sharang, right? Sharang, your voice is breaking. I am unable to hear you clearly.
So I'm saying that was indeed an interactive session that you have given, and the guidance is very valuable to us.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for those wonderful comments. So this is all based on my experience and the companies which I've worked with, and the project management knowledge which I've acquired, learning from other platforms. Yeah.
Surely, sir, that will be very much helpful for our students and everyone attending this webinar.
Yeah. So remember, I see to sum it up, like project management, I think I've covered the aspect more from my experience. There are many certifications out there, like you can get yourself certified in project management from PMI, the US governing body. So I think the initial cost, I don't know, maybe 50,000. You could get yourself certified and give you a certificate for 3 years. But after 3 years, again, 3 or 5 years, again, you need to renew it. That's a little time-consuming part. Yeah. So, but there are project management certifications which is available from IIT Delhi as well. Other reputed institutes like IICT Global, which has been formed by IIT and IIM alumni. So you can go on that website and see those courses. Then of course there is Axelos as well, wherein you could get yourself certified in Prince2 and Foundation certification. This is so Prince2 it's more of a structured project management methodology.
Okay, thank you, sir. I hope everyone is taking notes of the things sir is mentioning. It will be very valuable for all of us.
Sharang and the entire Atharva team, as I mentioned, at the end of the slide, you can see my contact details. I'll just share it with you again. So feel free to reach out to me for any questions or any type of guidance or any clarification which you need. I would be happy to address it from my side. So the relationships it doesn't stop here. It starts from here. It grows from here. You can send me your questions or anything on my email address, or you can call me on my number. As and when I'm available, I'll definitely reach out to you guys.
Thank you very much, sir. So with this, I think we can conclude today's webinar if there are no more questions. So firstly, I would like to again acknowledge for the significance of this project management webinar that is being organized by ISIL and thank you to Mr. Upendra Nadgaonkar sir for such a valuable guidance, and for sharing all the knowledge and the kind words that you have shared. Finally, I would like to thank the our Honorable Shri Sunil Rane Sir, Nemade Sir, Principal Sir, Vice Principal Sir, and all the HODs for guiding and encouraging us for this webinar. And the last thing that I would like to mention is to everyone to please switch on their videos so that we can take a screenshot for the website and our social media marketing, just like what how Sir said.
Upendra, sir, you can stop the presentation. We should see all of us.
I'm sure. Yeah, I've stopped that.
Guys, please put your videos on.
I think yes. Thank you, sir. Dipali ma'am, your video is not on.
All the faculties, students.
Yeah, there is some problem, Sharang, in my video, so it's okay. It is there.
All the participants just keep your video on. Yeah?
I have taken some screenshots to share with everyone later.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all the faculty members for coming and joining this webinar that was organized by above all, I would like to thank all the students for participating and making this webinar very meaningful. And I was fruitful for you. The information that was shared by our on respected principal sir and respected guest, Mr. Upendra Nagavkar sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So guys, I just like to take a minute here. As I mentioned, it's an honor for me to share my views on project management, the digital marketing piece, and the innovation piece. So it's really an honor for me, and I'm really thankful to the entire Atharva team and management for giving me an opportunity and this platform to present my views. I'm really obliged. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you.